Hey guys, welcome back to another adventure of my nightly walk and talk. And yeah, hope you guys are having a great night, great Friday. I'm here to just shoot the shit with you and talk about life and maybe some good advice. I was telling my mom, it's funny because even though I feel like I've wasted my life watching too many movies, I also feel like I've gained a world full of wisdom from it because there's so much knowledge that these, movies teach us. Be it, well, mostly old because let's admit, most of the stuff that's being made today is just shite. But, yeah, I mean, it was just this funny, message, that I was thinking about kind of what makes a man a man in today's day and age. And it was partially, me thinking about my grandfather, the good one. That's on my mom's side. My dad's father is just the epitome of a piece of shit, what I would never want to ever be in life. Someone who abandons their family and their legacy because they just can't hack it, and their pride and ego got the better of them, and kind of just illustrates the point that, money don't mean shit, okay? Money just amplifies who you already are. It's like and that could be, you could be either be great or you could be a piece of shit. And I think of that in the same way that it's like fire, right? Fire can keep you warm. It can make your food, or it could burn your house down, right? So, interesting analogy about that. It's like that's how I look at kind of money. It's just a construct, something that was invented so we don't kill each other to put some food in our bellies. But where am I going with this? The good grandfather, what it's like to be a man. And that's, you get up and you go to work, and you know what? You take care of the people who depend on you, and you don't say shit. You don't complain about it. You don't whine about it. Because at the end of the day, you look like a goddamn child when you're just, griping about life and how hard things are and why things aren't fair. Because I got news for you, buddy. From The Wire, another show that I love to look at, is full of life lessons. What the fuck in life ever is fair? Nothing. Nothing's fair. You make it on your own accord. You do the work. You take your shot. You roll the dice, and whatever happens, happens. So, my grandfather went to war in World War II. He drove a goddamn taxi through the mountains of Italy in the middle of the night with no lights at all. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, except he didn't have one of these lights, But he couldn't have his lights on because the goddamn Nazis were trying to bomb the shit out of him. And he was taking, soldiers to the hospital. So trip out on that. You want to complain about, your life and what you're doing. Try taking soldiers to the hospital or the medical tent, and they're trying to shell you. So, but this dude went on to have a family. He had 4 fucking kids. Can you imagine having 4 kids today? 4 kids. Okay? 2 girls, 2 boys. And I couldn't. I can barely imagine having one kid. I mean, shit. I think to myself, I could barely afford taking care of myself physically and mentally. Now you want me to just do that times two? Man. Different times. Different situations. I get it, but this guy was the GOAT. You know, he took care of his family, got up. He went through a lot of bullshit. He dealt with a lot of bullshit. And he just grinded. And he succeeded. Because I feel like the people above you, they notice these things. They notice the people who keep the head down, who put the work in. Okay? Even when times are tough. Like, for instance, I got laid off in October of 25. And it took me 3 months to find a job. I call it that, but it's, you know, it's pretty exploitative. I'm not making full-time, not making benefits, not getting any kind of, you know, thing that I'd like to see. But hey, it's better than running out the clock on unemployment at $400 a week. So I'm grateful, you know. And I'm doing what I love, which is to make a difference in this world. And that's to try and help people find their way. Whether it's people who are, you know, working hard at their craft, or people who are just getting into, you know, whatever industry they are. It makes me feel good to know that I'm actually making a difference in someone's life. So, yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. To, you know, another quote from Road to Perdition. Jude Law said, another great Tom Hanks movie where he played the anti-hero for once, but Jude Law, he's a hitman, and he says, you know, to do what you love for a living, isn't that the dream? And I couldn't agree more. That is, in a sense, the American dream, you know. So I am lucky that I get to participate and do what I enjoy, because I could be some of these other people who are in a very unfortunate place of having a huge debt over their head, and now they get out of, you know, school and they're like, oh shit, this isn't what I wanted to do. So, like I said, I try and look at life through that lens, that while it could always be better, it sure as shit could always be worse. So, yeah, just stumbling here on this lonely road of life that I'm on right now. Not really lonely. I got my wife. I am taking care of my mom. But you know the expression. Anyways, I thought I'd just hop on here and just be real, just be honest with you guys, let you know that, hey, you know what? It ain't gonna be that bad forever, because we all want life to end up the way we want it to be. And I originally thought that I was gonna live under a fucking bridge, that I was gonna be homeless, that I was gonna be destitute, because I didn't understand math the best that, you know, other people did. But my brain works a little bit differently than everybody else, so I get it. And now, homeowner, I got stocks, I got 401k it will be started up again, whichever company I, you know, go with next. I got a couple of positions that I got submitted for, and the best way I look at it is like I've lost those positions. Okay, that's the best way. And when you start putting your expectations like here, it gets like that's what happens. Okay, so keep the expectations here instead of here. Okay, because that way when things don't work out, which they don't a lot of times in life. How many times have we gotten a curveball that we didn't see coming? Right? That's a fundamental aspect of life. But just keep yourself grounded. Forget your pride, forget your ego, because another fun quote, pride comes before the fall. And a lot of people, they love to build themselves up to protect their ego, because when you come to terms with the fact that you ain't shit, there's always someone better than you, there will always be someone above you, it's you're at peace. You're like this little speck in the universe. And when you're able to come to terms with life, that certain things are just like a construct, like how the American economy is just like a 3-card Monty, right? It's just this never-ending that this economy is a never-ending 3-card Monty, that they're always just kicking the can down the road. The debt's never going to be paid off, right? We're always going to manipulate the economy, manipulate currency, debase currencies, because everything happens in cycles, revolutions, as Matthew McConaughey would like to say from Wolf of Wall Street, right? Revolutions. And it just keeps going on and on and on until we fucking just die, right? So, like I said, you look at Rome, you look at 1929, it's all the same story, right? The currency gets debased, the military gets overextended, and loans default, So, it'll eventually happen. I mean, you look at history as a lesson, and they show that societies, civilizations, usually last around 250 to 260 years. Fun fact, the United States is in its 250th year as being a society. So maybe we have 10 more years if we're lucky, right? Who knows at this rate? But ten more years. What was I going to say? But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where things are at right now. The dollar has lost like 85 to 95% of its value. $20 a couple of years ago now costs $25 to buy the same amount of goods. So just come to terms with it. Stop thinking, well, why does things keep rising? Things will always keep rising. Okay? It's not going to stop. It's not going to end. Just like the tariffs today. People are like, all right, whether you love it or hate it, it doesn't matter, because prices aren't going to go down. Okay? It's not going to change anything. Ask me this. When do prices ever go down? They don't. Your pay doesn't go down. Okay? A product's price doesn't go down unless it's on special, which then it's, again, just manipulated. So it seems like it was actually a much higher price to begin with, so then when it comes down, they're giving you a deal. But in reality, it's just manipulating you to think you're getting the deal. I'm not being a doomer or a gloomer. I'm just, like I said, I'm at peace with, how the world works, how economics plays, a hand in our everyday life. And once you guys kind of realize, certain things like that and the supply-demand side of things, it's a lot easier to just grasp instead of just kind of be lost in the sauce. So, just stay strong. Just keep doing what you're doing. Do what brings you passion, okay? Because when you do what brings you passion, the money will follow. How do I know? I'm broke as a joke, but yet I can still go into my pocket and look at this. What do we got here? We got some Benjis, all right? Oh boy. I go into my pocket and, all right, you just need to learn how to do more with less, okay? Free yourself from the idea of consuming will make you feel better, because unfortunately that is how we're programmed, that every couple months we are primed to go spend money because just look at this, how this country is set up, that every couple months, to the T, to the dime, to the day, there is always some event, some holiday, something that makes you or pushes you to go spend. We just had Valentine's Day. Next thing you know, we're gonna have St. Patrick's Day, then we're gonna have April Fool's Day, then we're gonna have May Day, then we're gonna have Earth Day. It's always gonna be something that's gonna try to incentivize you to spend on yourself or others. But like I said, it's just a construct. So yeah, I hope me just blabbering and talking about life and how I see things, I don't look at this as doom and gloom. I just look at this as just being a realist. People are like, you need to be more hopeful. You need to have more faith. And I tell them, well, you know what? Here's the thing. I've been on this planet 40 years, and I like to think that I'm a really good observer in things, and I pay attention. And, here's what I realized. Shit in one hand and hope and pray in the other. You tell me which one fills up first. Serious. Tell me which one fills up first, okay? So, that being said, I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you guys stay safe. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to try and hit some golf balls and take out my frustrations. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I'll see my brother tomorrow for my belated birthday dinner. All right? Stay safe, guys. Later.